Hello, it's Alien Radio Signal Hunt time. So, as the Earth rotates, our dish is going to sweep across the night sky, passing over various stars and their planets. If we get lucky, one of those may be sending us a signal, and then we should see it clearly, hopefully anyway, on the screen tonight. So, if you've seen the film Contact, or the recent Apple TV series Pluribus there's a few others, we are doing just that. We're listening out as the night goes on there, hoping to hear anomalous signals that could be from extraterrestrials there. We're listening on a frequency called the hydrogen line, and that is the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorize that if ET's out there, this is where they would put that message. Hello, is anybody else out there? Or, due to a recent paper speculation, that maybe it'll be their last message. That might be when a civilization is inclined enough to put in the resources to have that message out there. We've got a little bit of a signal coming in tonight, but it looks like it's going to be electronic interference there. Now, it's going to be right place, right time, so we need to keep our eyes on the screen and on the meters there, because we never know when we may get lucky. If we do, it'll only be on screen for between 30 to 90 seconds there. At these sorts of distances and at the speed of the Earth's rotation, it'll be a fleeting signal, but nonetheless very exciting. So whilst we wait, say hello, let us know where you're watching from tonight, and if you had an experience with the phenomena, or just want to ask a question about what's in the news lately, do let us know there. Astro Gazer, good to see you in there. Good evening. It's getting on for us here. How about where you are there? Hey up! Evening or 10 p.m. where 8 comes round very, very fast there. GWAC in as well, and up, thank you for the gifts there. GWAC as well, appreciate that. All the gifts, the subs, the members does go back into the stream there. Harco is in over on the tubes there, and Lisa and William there. Missed the visual streams. Stupid weather. Oh, I know. I feel it. I'm hoping if the weather holds, we should get a Skywatch in tomorrow night, so fingers crossed for that. You can't beat, can you, the night sky there, and a few of those satellites for you, flying across some shooting stars. It is absolutely stunning. Friend is in as well there, so what we're talking about is what we do when the skies are clear. So when that weather is a bit miserable, as it is tonight here in the UK, we do the alien radio signal hunt, as we're doing now. But when those skies are clear, or when we expect them to be clear, we do a UFO, a UAP, a Skywatch. Got a camera, good lens, looks up to the night sky, and we look for those weird and wonderful things flying around up there. And it is very, very active there. Friend is in as well there. Slovenia, Simon, good to have you in. How are your skies tonight? Have you ever seen anything strange in them? That is my favourite part about doing this, is actually hearing your accounts with the phenomena, your personal experiences. That, for me, has pushed the needle of understanding the most in doing this. We all get to hear about the main ones that make the news, or even we are spoiled a bit these days, aren't we, with all of the independent creators out there coming up with some great stuff. But there are still so many stories you do not get to hear, and all those little details, I think, for me, it's helped to paint what I think is a more accurate picture of the phenomena there. Have you ever tried other things like trying to get signals from sats or other things? So Astro, I would like to do those things. There are some interesting things in the world of radio, some really interesting things. So, you know, just looking in, I've seen people tuning into weather satellites. You get those live feeds coming down, or when the ISS passes over, or even things like number stations and stuff like that. The problem is I'm not that skilled. I really am not. Barely get my head around doing this. But I would at some point, maybe if I start to play and get a bit more confident in those things, we could spice it up a bit and do things. Because radio is absolutely fascinating. There as well there. Where is Kate? Good question. Kate the Late. I'm sure she'll be in at some point soon there. Marcus is in. Good to see you. How are you doing there? And Gaza too. We're getting the crew in tonight. And is it Sunday? I think it's Sunday tonight, isn't it? I'm losing track of time and space. I think it's Sunday, yeah. So tomorrow, let's double check the weather before we make any more claims. What's Monday night looking like? No, Monday night is looking Skywatch potential there. So, yeah, if we get lucky, guys, maybe a Skywatch tomorrow night. What's the rest of the week looking like? Come on. What's that doing? What are we looking like? Tuesday. Oh, Tuesday, a little bit of cloud. But it could be possible for Tuesday. Wednesday, maybe? No, I'm looking at Thursday again now. Less likely at that day. But, Saturday's looking good. Yeah, okay. We might have, the weather might be eventually on the turn. I have to talk to Pete, see if we can get an on-location stream booked in for you guys, because they are pretty fun there. Your luck, I'll tap into Area 51. That would imply good luck. I'd love to tap into Area 51. But yeah, no, well, I think, you dreamed, didn't you guys? You dreamed, what could we do, if we ever got big enough there? What sort of things could we do? A UK tour of doing Skywatches is definitely on the list, and that is something we are trying to do. We're trying to roll the dice to get something booked in to do Rendlesham Forest to start that. Do a Skywatch from all of the interesting UK locations there, the UFO hotspots and all those historical places. But can you imagine going to the US there, doing a bit of Roswell, a bit from Area 51 there? You're still gone there, Harko. Still just saying a dot and a dash. It is typical TikTok. It is. There's always something up on one of these damn platforms. Oh, and Astro there, if you could try, go to, was it 157 megahertz, you will get a lot of traffic. So we can't, Astro, the only issue is that most of our people are interested in the alien stuff. So just the general radio around that probably isn't fully of interest. I don't even know if, because we've got all the filters and the amplifiers on for this as well. So I don't think they extend to that range. So I'd have to change the signal train for it. And where are we? GWAC as well. I gave our heart me a new look. Oh, is that an auto message there? But thank you, Harko, there for the gifts as well. And I think GWAC fed
Thanks,
Alan
guys.
as well there for that one there. Oh, so fine. No, actually, I'm interested in all that sort of stuff. So if I can tie it in and get a little bit more skilled, then I think one day we can give some of those things a try. There's lots of interesting phenomena in the world of radio. And a lot of it as well still does actually tie it back into the UFO stuff, the long delay echo phenomena. Sadly, again, it's not something that's very predictable, so it might be difficult to do that live, but that is very interesting and ties in with the UFO stuff too there. You've changed your name there, United. Right, I'm going to try and I'll try and remember for this one on there. But how are you doing? And remember the good old radio scanner. Yes, lots of stuff. I mean, honestly, the world in radio is absolutely fascinating. It's a natural phenomena, isn't it? And this is one of the things we do have to consider when we're doing stuff like this, is that the universe screams in a radio. It's its natural language. It's not a man-made technology. We've just adapted it for our technological means. So when we are considering if we get any signals through, are they potentially alien? Obviously, if we can filter out the human stuff, then we have to filter out the organic stuff. You can tune into the planets, which is crazy to think. I was watching a documentary earlier about a radio silence day there. I never knew about it. You know what? I didn't either. It's very hard, I imagine, for them to do, because everything uses radio, doesn't it, nowadays? Think of all the devices that we've got with Bluetooth and stuff. All of that is radio. Would we even be able to do it in this modern day and age there? 1924, there you go, that might be easier for it there. Yeah, I mean, cool, could you imagine trying to do that now? But think of how valuable that would be for the radio astronomy community, because a lot of these anomalous signals that we get in, that we can't then prove are alien, but so they just go, it's probably man-made interference. If we could eliminate the man-made interference by that very sort of process, that would make a lot of these signals, I think, a lot more plausible to the mainstream scientific community there. We take this show on the road this summer there. It'd be great to get out and about there. And where's good to go? Gaza, we would love to. So I'm trying. I might see. We might launch our thing tonight. So as with everything in life, it's the pennies that are the problem, and going on the road takes a lot of issues there. But we're trying to think of ways around that and getting creatively. And having issues with a streaming computer doesn't help, because that takes from that. But we are trying to book in our Rendlesham Forest. So I think we're at the point I just need to book in a date for it and then figure it out sometime soon to drag Pete up to Suffolk, and we can do a live from Rendlesham. Don't know what we'll do if the weather turns out crap, because the weather doesn't like to play by a ball there. How are we doing, Denise? Good to see you in. How is your weekend going there? And the US asked 5 minutes every hour for a radio silence there to enable them to listen for intent. Did they really? So I didn't know about that. That is what's fantastic about the community, is knowing all these sorts of facts. I know some of the early things that they were doing. I mean, the reason that we're doing this at Radio SETI is kind of a product of that older era there, when radio was the most technological thing that we could come up with as a species there. It was the height of technology. Kind of old-fashioned now, although we still do use it quite heavily. But we thought, well, what's a futuristic alien civilization gonna look like there? Well, there'll be radio as well, because they're technologically advanced, and now it's kind of looking a little bit old hat. But the thing with radio is, even if it isn't the latest technology, is because it's natural, it's accessible, it's actually quite easy. And therefore, it's possibly the best medium to communicate on there, because everybody, even the people on the lowest end of the tech tree, are going to potentially be able to detect your signals should you be sending them. That is why we listen on this very frequency, the hydrogen line there, the channel on the radio dial, as you can see with the lines on the screen there, 1.420 point something blah 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 there. That is where the WOW signal was heard, and a number of other anomalous signals. But we listen on this particular channel there through the medium of radio because it is the most likely place you'd put a message. And it's the most likely place because there's going to be the most eyes and ears on it, because it is so useful for those scientific purposes and things like that. There's always going to be people monitoring it there. So if you want your message heard, this is where it's going to be there. And Gaz, oh, why is that one? It's auto-redacted or something on that one. See, you can never get away with these platforms. They're always doing some sort of silly moderation or something there. Try it again, Gaza, and we'll see if it comes through. There, how are you doing, Print Farm? Good to see you in there. You're late yet again. You're just on time. You're not too bad. Only 10 minutes. That's all good. So guys, if you are just joining us, we are doing our live alien radio signal hunt again tonight. The weather is not on our side, so we're indoors and we're listening out for those potential alien radio signals coming in, hopefully from deep out there in space. There have been quite a few anomalous signals. When we first started doing this, I was just thinking, right, if we can get, you know, if we can, you know, it's the wow signal is basically the main one, isn't it? That's the one that gets all the attention. If we can get our own wow signal, but when you look into it, there is a whole bucket full of these anomalous signals that they just cannot write off. They put them in that, well, it's probably man-made interference, but there's no reason or justification for it. It's not that the signals looked particularly man-made, or we know that there is equipment that transmits on those frequencies or anything like that. No, it's just because they couldn't confirm aliens. And now the way that they like to confirm aliens, look, having that second confirmation there of a signal, or second detection I should say, the idea is that if you're sat there with your big radio telescope control room, kind of like as we're here tonight but on a smaller scale, and you get that signal coming in, and you ring up your friend and you go, hey Bob, point your dish at Alpha Centauri. Can you hear the same signal? And the idea is that if you imagine like, a dish on this side of the Earth and a dish on this side of the Earth, all point to the same destination there, look, if there's a satellite in between one of them causing that fake signal, causing the signal there to look like it, then having two from two separate locations confirms that it is coming from where you think it's coming from. Now, the reason that they can't actually do that, they've never managed to do it, is because they're not monitored in real time. They're monitored a long time after the event of capture there. In fact, the wow signal was probably the closest we could have got to it there. It was realized the next day. But yeah, most of the time, sometimes it's decades later, they will go through the data and go, oh, that was an anomalous signal. Then they spend 5 years writing a paper trying to get some telescope time to point back to that star where they heard that signal, and they go, oh, no, nothing's there anymore. Must have been man-made interference. And I really get that we need that second detection, but you've got to be ready to go. You need to be on call. There needs to be an active process. Of course, you're never going to get that second detection. Well, firstly, we as a species only sent that signal once. We sent our message, hello, we're humans, third planet from our star, blah, blah, blah. We sent that once. So why, first of all, would aliens be any different to us? And the second reason is that the most likely signal we are going to be able to detect is the most high-powered, which we think would be if an alien is, you know, the alien civilization is reaching out for help. Maybe it's their goodbye message or, you know, a cry for help. That's when they're going to put the most energy, therefore the loudest signal we have the highest chance of detecting. So if you imagine that was the case for the wow signal back in the 70s, you know, maybe their planet is, you know, they can't get off planet and the sun is, their star is going to swallow it whole there. So they're just reaching out saying, help us, or goodbye universe, whatever it may have been. Well, of course, you know, if we take our time to then a year later, 5 years later, to check, you know, we're not getting anything again. Of course not. It's too late there. So it's a bit of an own goal, I think, on the scientific front. It needs to be done live. And in this day and age, with the technology we're getting, I think we're possibly getting closer and to that one. In Holland, when we had the big ear, sadly, to 5G phone crap, everything is moved to Africa. Well, this is the thing, as more technology, you know, advances there, more of those radio spectrum, it just gets noisier and gets harder and harder to do this sort of monitoring here on Earth. Just to filter those things out. They do want to, don't they, put a big dish on the other side of the moon, and therefore that would eliminate those man-made signals. How are we doing, Tick Tick? Good to see you in tonight there, and thank you, Harko, for the gifts, and Tick Tick there as well, and Laurel S. Oh, hi, you doing, Laurel S? I nearly missed those ones. Did we get one as well from, yeah, no, covered those ones. Appreciate those guys. All the gifts, the subs, the members, and all that jazz goes back into the stream. Stuff the weather. Let's hear a signal. Exactly, Print Farm. That's what we want to hear. So something. This is not as action-packed. So I get it's not as thrilling as watching the night sky live. But whenever I go back, I rewatch the film Contact or something like that. I look to that and go, God, that does look fun. Sitting around waiting for the signal. And they go, fuck, we do that. This is what we do on cloudy nights. It could happen at any time. This thing, we're not going to get a build-up. We're not going to get, this is, it looks like tonight's the night. We're getting a few flecks of a signal. No, this is the way it works. Is we've got to be passing over that star at the right time there. So it could happen at any second. It's a bit of a lottery. Did anyone saw the silly, what's that, webpage managed to make for us? No, I haven't seen that one. Then again, I haven't been on the Discord yet. Okay, I'll have to check that one out later. How you doing, Lawrence? How is your weekend going? Carl is in as well, and I love that film. Me too. This is something quite romantic, isn't it? Just sitting away, passing the time in one of those control rooms there, scrunched up paper into the waste basket there, and then they drop their pizza on the floor because the sound comes through the speakers. Exactly what we're doing tonight, just all around the world there. M to the C, good to see you in. How are you doing? Can I unredact that? Let's have a look. No, it's not letting me unredact messages there, sadly. I don't think. Nope. Damn it. I want to see bloody auto messaging things going on there. Now they've just been cleaning your bedroom there. Loras is essential, though. Good on you for doing it. I need to do that myself. Don't hold that mirror to me. Rio, good to see you. How have you been? So guys, if you are just joining us, we're doing a live alien radio signal hunt tonight. We are searching on the hydrogen line, the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorize that if ET's out there, this is where they would put that message. Hello, is anybody else out there? Is where the WOW signal was heard, but many more anomalous signals over the years. So as the Earth rotates, our dish is going to sweep across the night sky, passing over various stars and their planets. If we get lucky, we might get to see a nice clear spike on the screen there. And Print Farm and Carl, thank you for the gifts. Appreciate those guys. As it all goes back into the stream. But yeah, that's what we're doing, listening out for those potentially alien radio signals. Now, again, right place at right time. They are quite rare, but they do happen. If nobody's listening, nobody's going to hear us. That's our job. The more we do it, the more our statistical odds increase of detecting a signal. So what you're looking at on the screen right now, we'll start with the red box there. That one that pops up is the microsignal analysis. And what that's doing is it's looking at all of that background noise there. So you see the waves we've got on the screen. Where is my cursor? Right, so all of this jumping up around here on this blue line, all these lovely waves of the green line there. These are the live signals coming in there. Oh, Gaza, that one came through. Got a camper van. It makes it easier to get out and about there. Great for star watching there. I also watch the military planes. Got your finger out of time is a bit of a mission. Oh, right. Yeah, it's like when you get a cut in the groove or something. You really notice it there. I used to have a couple of campers when I was allowed to drive, and I love them. Just the freedom, as you say there. You could just hop in and go where you want. So have a little base everywhere you go. I very much miss those days. I always used to want to cut the roof open for a rag top so you could just pull it back and see the stars. Never got round to it, but I'm dreaming of that sort of thing, Gaza. So where's the best place that you've camped there and you've had a good view of the sky? Feed him, Harco, exactly. Got to feed Alan, keep him at bay. But what we're looking at now, so these are the live radio signals coming in. Each one of these little markers here, these are the channels that you'd scroll through in an old-fashioned radio there to hear your music, Radio 1, Radio 2, whatever it was. Be scrolling through there. Each one of these channels on the dials is different frequency. Now, we're right down the low end compared to those radios we'd have, for, listening for music stations and things. Right down the low end, each part of the radio spectrum is chopped up for a specific purpose so nobody has to compete. Those FM AM radio stations are one bit there, and then the police radios are down another bit, the satellite communication, Wi-Fi is another band there, phones. So they've all got their own bits there, and they're not going to kind of get in the way of each other. And we're right the way down the low end. We're actually on a section that is reserved for listening only. So by international treaty, nobody is allowed to make equipment or transmit directly on these frequencies there. So, if we do get a signal come through, it's not going to be our home Wi-Fi that is, doing that, or, things like that. We've only got really account for electronic interference. So that makes this part very, very special. Again, having to be able to filter out the man-made stuff there as well. What's that one, Harco? That's a good gift. Thank you, Harco. I'd appreciate that one. We're all good, Rio. How are you doing? The two mouses are back. They are for that top bit. Look, we've got the double mouse going on, but down here they're not. So yeah, this is the live signals coming in, and we are looking around. This is the hydrogen line, the frequency. Now, the nature of radio is it's actually a bit wider, is the area of interest there. And also, if the source of any signal that we detect is actually in motion, if it is moving away, if it's in orbit. You know, imagine if those aliens are sending this message from a planet that's orbiting a star, as you very much would expect there. What that's going to do is it's going to cause the actual frequency to come through slightly differently there. It's called Doppler shift, and the idea is that if it's moving away, as it's sending that radio wave out, it's stretching it there, and if it's moving to us, it's compressing it down there, so squeezing or stretching the radio wave there, and that changes the frequency. Therefore, so called Doppler shift, and we can hear it in sound. If you've heard like an emergency vehicle, police car, or a siren, the siren of an ambulance, there, things like that. You know, as they're coming towards you, they kind of, it gets lower pitched, and if they're going away from you, they get higher pitched, or the other way around. I can't remember which way it is, but that's the same thing. It's a sound wave, not a radio wave, but they're stretching and compressing. It's the same sound that's being emitted from the siren, but because it's moving away from you or coming towards you, you hear it slightly differently. So we'd love to see something here, but also around this area is actually of interest there. Now, this middle box here, this is the same as above, but rather than showing the real-time spikes all coming in as they are live, this is showing us on averages. Same data displayed differently, and this shows us this lovely little wave that we can see here tonight. It is moving, but yeah, it's showing us these patterns, and as you can see, look right here, look at that square ridge, right actually where our bar is. So this is, or just off, but this is showing us that, look, that is not very natural, is it? That is not an organic signal. As you can see, this organic background noise. This is something, you know, technological there. Now, you can see the spike that is causing that. It's ever so slight. You can see the difference just behind the red line. And because it's showing you as averages, that's why it's displaying like this little square. But there's a very faint occasional spike that is coming through there. Now, that, again, is likely to be electronic interference from our equipment here. And we know this, A, because it's very, very precise. It's that very, very thin line there. Nature is very wide and very messy. And even our technological signals, they're more precise, but they're not like that precise. And the fact that it's been with us the whole time, that will tell us that it's something here with us in this room, and it's not affected by where the dish is pointing as the Earth rotates. So this is what we're seeing. We want to see a nice big clear spike over these things here. We've just got the sky map down the bottom, so if you're on TikTok, check us out on the YouTubes there, at the thing UFO. That will, you'll see a lot more data going on. You can only see the middle bit of the screen basically on TikTok. But behind me, you can kind of see a little bit of it here, TikTokers. This is a live sky map, but directly behind me, you can just see the bottom. Below me, just down there, you see the little target symbol there. Now that is showing you where our dish is pointed in the night sky and its sort of coverage area. And as the night moves on, those stars move across the screen, and we can see what close by stars are in range. So very quickly, that is what we're doing. We've got Zune. It's not pronounced Zune, but I can't pronounce it. Is in range at the minute at 77 light years. That's not too far in space terms, and that means that the closer stars, again, higher statistical chance of potentially detecting those signals, because they have got to go not as far, so therefore they don't need as much energy. Private Tomcat is in. How are you doing there? Should we get back over to the tubes as well? Sorry, the TikTok. Simon, how are you? Hope you are well. Good to see you in. Thank you for the heart. Where are we? Up into the chat. And Hazel there, it's a very exciting time to be in this stuff. It really is, Hazel. You're definitely not wrong. It actually feels very, very different to me. Getting into the tech side of it. Oh, see, that's the bit I love. I'm no good at it, Hazel, but this is, as you can tell, I like shiny things. I like a little bit of tech. And this is, yeah, very much the product of that, so I'm feeling there. But yeah, what a time, very much what a time. Let me turn my little light up a little bit there. What a time to be into all of this, because yeah, if you'd taken this back, I mean, even in the 2010s, you're still the weirdo. You know, God, there's no proof of aliens or anything like that. You know, it's just the weirdos that have these experiences. Very much not the case these days, is it? And very much that we're, you know, we seem to be ahead of the game. There are so many credible people that have come out now very, very publicly. My favourite is the Harold Malmgren sort of claims that he made before he passed. That insanely credible individual, their presidential advisor to multiple presidents. And yeah, it's no longer, is it, just the farmers and the country folk that have these sightings. And it never was. It's just that's how the media displayed it. But yeah, it actually feels like we are on the cusp of some form of actual disclosure. Like we are actually on the road there. I don't think we can take it for granted. At any point, that could change. But it very much feels like we could actually be very close to something like that. Even going back a few months, there was definitely more activity. But I was like, is this just a product of the fact that we are so much better connected now, like we are all here tonight doing this together? You know, is it just that we are seeing more of the phenomena that was always there? and that's why it feels like there's a lot more, or is it actually more? But now, yeah, it does feel like there is more and more going on there. It'll be back this week, Simon. Excellent there. Fixed there. Simon, you got to let me know the magic there, and I'm glad to hear it. We'll catch you all later on there. Thank you for popping by there. But thank you, Simon. Looking forward to seeing you later on there. And up there, still very weird not hearing the sound on the SETI stream. Roll on the laptop returning. Honestly, I'm hopefully going to get a version of it back tomorrow. I think it's just a testing version. But yeah, I keep forgetting you guys can't actually hear the sound, a bit like I haven't done that introduction. Bloody weird thing. But yeah, we should have hopefully the streaming computer back for testing tomorrow, and if it's all right, then we can get the show fully back to how it is. Because at the minute, guys, we're limping through, all bodged on my poor work laptop, which I'm very surprised is running it actually. But yeah, we do have a whole dedicated streaming computer, but it threw a bit of a sulk. Much stress for us last week, but yeah, we should be on the repair for that. But once that's all confirmed, we have some little treats in store for you there, because we have been working on some upgrades behind the scenes, some extra features and things, but with that buggering up, we haven't been able to roll those out. But one of them will be that you'll be able to do this at home anytime you want there. You'll be able to plug into our dish anytime, monitor it for signals, and hit the button there, and basically, yeah, log anything anomalous, and it logs who you are as well. So therefore, you know your claim to fame if you catch the good signal on it. But yeah, we're going to make that available. Excuse me. Plus lots of other monitoring and things, giving you the tools to help do all of this at home. I don't just want to believe. I fully do believe. So this is the thing. My level of belief is kind of like, it's a spectrum of which specific parts there, because I think the more specific we get, the less confidence I have in any one claim. I mean, human perception is a brilliant thing, but it is always incredibly flawed there. But honestly, nowadays, I don't think belief is going to be most of it. Like, I think there are so many good stories out there that we are so close to not even needing to believe, but we will be able to know, even from a scientific point of view there. And Barry Jet, how are you doing there? Thank you for the follow. Good to have you in. Wayfind too. And Kate, good to see you in as well. How is the weekend going? So yeah, guys, if you're just joining us, we're doing a live alien radio signal hunt tonight. We are searching the hydrogen line. This is the channel on the radio dial here that we are monitoring to listen out for potential alien radio signals. If we get lucky, it's a bit of right place, right time, but this is where science would expect them to be. It's where the WOW signal has been heard and other anomalies in the past as well. Again, right place, right time, so there's a lot of waiting involved, but we keep ourselves company, don't we? Keep ourselves warm around the campfire, hearing all of your stories and accounts. So if you've got a question, do ask away. No silly questions here, so just ask anything you're curious about, what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it, something you've seen in the news, or if you want to share one of those brilliant personal experiences. They're my favourite bit there. Hey, Kate, well, you've got to do what you've got to do. Sorry to hear that one, though. Oh, that's you've had a bit of a tough week. I mean, you're always having a tough week, but it's another one there. Ben's popped in. How are you doing there? And Amon's are there. Beyond the spectrum is where the weird stuff lives. So, well, this is an interesting point of view. And I think you might. Well, I think you're definitely on the money with that. Definitely. Because we are limited. We do not see or measure, even with technology, the full range of reality there. We have only, if we talk about ourselves as humans, we've only developed, haven't we, the senses that have been necessary to keep us alive there. We haven't experienced anything, say, in the infrared light spectrum that we needed to see in infrared. There. And that is just one case, and it's the same with sound, other light frequencies, radiation, magnetism. We don't detect that personally as people. So we've built sensors that are capable of seeing in these realms as well, but we're still only to the best of our knowledge of what exists out there. Like the idea that we're monitoring, we can even conceive of what base reality looks like and all of its treasures. I think, yeah, if we're lucky, we're scratching the single digits percentages of understanding at least what is out there in a framework. So I think very, very right there. And Up, how are you doing over on the tubes now? And thank you for the super chat. I said appreciate that. All of the super chats there, the members, the patrons, the gifts, all that stuff there goes back into the stream there. And it's all a man's fault, Kate. When is it not? When is it not? But then again, all the good stuff is as well, so Robert, the black goo around the Mars, a life form from radio waves. Oh, Robert, right, you got to tell me more about this. What black goo? What black goo? That's interesting, but you're reminding me of, God, was it? It was nearly a year ago now, wasn't it? That there was that weird black goo that the guy had online. He was showing his updates of it, and people were like, what the hell is that? Is it an alien? Could be interesting there. I want to hear more on that one, Robert. We scroll through, but yes, do make sure you are following or subscribed, whatever it is, wherever you are, because we're on pretty much every night there. If it's a cloudy night, we're doing this, the alien radio signal hunt. If it's a clear sky, we do a live UFO, a UAP, a skywatch, which, as I say, we are coming to you live from Wiltshire in the UK, which is right in the heart of Crop Circle country and just down the road from Stonehenge. We see lots of cool things in the night sky here, so do make sure that you are subscribed to get those notifications when we go live. It's good to have you all in, so make sure as you're coming in, do say hello and let us know where you're all watching from tonight. I want to hear from you all then. If you've had an experience, do share that. Again, it's my favourite bit outside of it. Laura Les. Hey, if I get it back, I'm going to give it back. I'm going to give it back, Laura Les. There. And he'll have no choice. Trevi as well. Evening, I was watching something on Mel's Hole there. Never heard of this story before. Amazing stuff. That was fascinating. Oh, the old days of Art Bell, Coast to Coast there. Or was it Midnight in the Desert, that one? But either way, brilliant. So the idea, Mel's Hole, it came through Art Bell, old school phone-in radio of the weird there, and this guy called Mel apparently had this hole on his property somewhere in the US that it seemed to be just go on forever. You know, you chuck stuff in and you'd never hear the sound of it hitting the bottom. And he tried to measure it, and he just, you know, the rope would just keep on going and going and going. You could never find the bottom of it there. And then weird stuff started to happen. So like everybody, he'd let his neighbours tip all their rubbish in. You wouldn't hear it hit the bottom. It never filled up. I think you chucked a dog in there once, and there was all sorts of weird stuff going on about it. Absolutely fascinating there. Miles Johnson talks about it there. He used to work for Channel 4. Oh, I need to look at more into that. Sounds fascinating. I mean, look, I think life is going to be far weirder than the little snapshot that we experience here in our little version of reality there. And the one case that I think probably is close for us to immediately understand this is the potential plasmoid phenomena. So a lot of those lights in the sky, those orbs, could be a sentient form of plasma life there. So plasma caught in a magnetic field there, it's technically a plasmoid, but they have been observed to be adapting to their environment, working as groups, there even potential reproduction, which ticks all the boxes for life. Now that would blow our minds. That is a form of life that we have never even got close to having our heads around, and would make sense of why it's been going on the whole time here on Earth and we haven't noticed it there, because it's so different to us. So that is probably just the start, let alone we're bringing in dimensions and all sorts of other stuff there. Wayfind there, DMT should be a mandatory medicine. It's very interesting. It is all of the psychedelic stuff. So typically we write these things off, don't we? We demonize them, and not that there needs to be, there shouldn't be any caution around these things, but it's very quick to write things off. Have you noticed this with humanity? Something new comes along, and either it's so good that we almost use it immediately, and therefore we get ourselves into trouble, because with everything there's good and there's bad, or it's so dangerous that we can never ever touch it, ignoring the good whilst trying to block out the bad there. We don't seem to be able to handle more nuance, do we, as a species? It has to be good or bad, and either one, and there is no discussion around it, and eventually we learn over time, but it's kind of dragged kicking and screaming. All of those sorts of things there. Even like the traditional medicines and stuff I think are going to be prided, but DMT, the psychedelics, is very strange. Very interesting as well. Kate there, it's nearly my birthday, and I'll hopefully be treating myself to a new laptop there. Kate there, we're looking forward to that one. They're getting you back to do that one, and you'll have to remind us, because I will always forget. Alan needs to send you a card there. Though the old man may have stuff that... Oh, no, okay. I'm on your side there then, men, with that one. Where are we over there? Raf is in. How are you doing tonight, Raf? Are you enjoying your time off there? And do many people still get involved in crop circles? Is there a way to know where they are? So, Gaza, they still go on quite regularly. I feel like the popularist side of it there, you know, there was a buzz, wasn't there, in the 90s around the crop circles, like anything new. They still seem to be quite active. I can't find the website I was using last year. It was a brilliant website, and like the guy knew the next morning, and I have no idea how you just know where there is one, you know, without waiting for somebody else to find that information. But honestly, yeah, like they were getting great shots the next day, and they had all the information, where it is, you know, is the farmer going to shoot you if you go on his land, all that sort of stuff. I can't find it now for the life of me. But yeah, there are some places out there that normally within a few days will get the activity there. And friend there reminds me of the hole in Russia that sounds like people are screaming 24/7. Oh, is that one of those deep boreholes? There are some very freaky things going on in this world that we live in. It's a lot stranger than we have been led to believe, I think, by far there. Terry, good to see you in. And Wayne there, evening all. Hope you had a good weekend. We're all right here. Hope you have as well there. And Raf, TikTok has apparently stopped from sending messages. What? Stop you from sending messages? It's like it knows your what the sort of messages you send there, Raf. But I'm not surprised. TikTok is awful. Always blocking things. Hasn't auto-bleeped for me yet, though, has it? Syntax, though. I like those... was it bioluminescence single-cell organisms that light up the beach waves like a roller disco? Oh, I've seen those, Syntax, and they just look so cool. They really do look cool. There was another weird phenomena that I had never heard of before, but apparently it was a thing. It's just one of these lesser-known weird things that apparently islands, like, they send out lightning bolts under the water. Right, and it was reported by all of the Polynesian sort of explorers of their day in the folklores, you know, all out in the Pacific Islanders would talk about this, is how they would navigate, apparently, over those vast distances, because on certain nights when it was just right, you could see these light streaks, and that meant that if you followed where the light streak had come from, you were, you know, however many miles away from an island, at least there. And again, modern geologists, no, can't be possible. How would that work? Lightning from an island underwater? Bollocks. But, you know, people have recently gone, maybe there's something to these old stories, and they've gone out and they've experienced it themselves. Nobody's got any good images of it, though. But yeah, one of these long lost phenomena. The world is going to be so much stranger. Better than LEDs, they rip. Again, nature comes up the arse to all these things there. Something about violating guidelines. Oh, exactly, Raf. Bollocks to them. Bollocks to them. You're better off over there. So, speaking of which, right, if you are sick of all of that stuff on TikTok, at the Thing UFO, find us on the tubes, you get to see much more of the analysis that's going on. At the minute, guys, you're seeing the middle section of the screen there. You can only see 2 or 3 little bits of information. There's so much more going on around the sides. So, definitely worth checking out over there. Yeah, you want me over there, Kate. The Wayfind, if you look at a laser when on DMT, everyone sees the matrix code, and it's an objective reality. So I've heard a lot about this. I've heard a lot. I don't know if it's objective. I'm very, very interested in it, like very interested. So I'm not going to write it off at all. But the problem is the nature of psychedelics. It puts in something in the process that we can't measure externally, and I think that is very, very tricky. So I understand a lot of like the scientific hesitation, but come on, guys, the fact that there's a particular type of mushroom as well where people all have the same hallucination, which is crazy to think there. And apparently it's little people, they call them the machine elves. They're like just tiny little elves running around. Like everybody on this particular type of mushroom sees the same thing, and when you've got that consistency, just like you're saying there with the laser seeing the code and stuff potentially coming through, when there is that consistency across the board, that is very, very interesting. What is that link? It must be something to do with the substance there. So is it, as you say there, is it actually showing us something that is objective rather than subjective? Because that is the nature. You'd think everybody have a different experience there. Dara is in the house. How are we doing there? Tell Bentos I said it's probably all those dodgy vids he's accidentally sent. Accidentally. There we go, Raf. Okay, so, and I love the little mushroom. Kate, if I was my younger self, I'd be well on that one. We'd be doing that as a live. It's Alan. I'm seeing 1,000 Allans. Oh my god. I don't think I've got the mental integrity for it these days, though, sadly. Where are we there? Group tripping, yeah, more power of suggestion than being on the same wavelength. So this is the thing that we do have to excuse me, account for. And it might not necessarily be that somebody, you know, that you've heard about this particular experience and therefore that you're going to then have, because that idea has been implanted in your head, so when you trip, you're going to get that. That is obviously something that can happen, but also culturally as well. We see this without psychedelics. You know, we think of somebody like Einstein as being this absolute genius that, you know, came up with general relativity there and all that advanced whatever it was, dynamics, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, very, very clever man, but he was a product of his environment. He took clues from the culture, the other work that other people had done that kind of got it quite close and went, and put the bits together. There are other people doing similar sorts of things at the time. And it's that sort of what's in the air culturally can influence the mind. Art is similar as well. We spoke about this last night. There's been a few times in Hollywood where totally randomly, the two separate big Hollywood studios have released basically the same film at the same time. And what was it? Was it Mission to Mars? And there's another Mars one. Again, all very similar storylines, but they were wrote independently. Nobody knew. So there is this cultural zeitgeist, isn't there, with this sort of stuff? So we have to figure out a way to filter that out. Now, if there is these psychedelics, if there is something objective there, then that we should be able to find ways of testing that. And there is some interesting stuff within the DMT experience that points to there being, you get something more objective rather than subjective about it. And I think that's why DMT is specifically quite interesting out of all of the different psychedelics. Again, this is quite a high bar to eliminate some of that background stuff, but I think somebody's talking about that they have managed to stabilize DMT now, so they can kind of control your dosage. They can turn it on, turn it off for however long, and they're going to try and map the DMT realm. So I imagine that won't work if it is a purely like social clue sort of thing, or if it is contextual there. And dreams are the same in the same way. They're a waking dream. So this is another good angle there, is that dreams are, you know, there's a lot of magic people think to dreams as well, but for the good part that there is. And again, we can't say about all of them, because dreams there are different types of dream, but there is the main part for dreams, and their purpose is to process and resolve things that you've come across in your day and your life and your experience there. And that's why, you know, wake up in a cold sweat, because you're replaying certain things. A lot of the time it doesn't have to be literal. In fact, the mind works quite conceptually. So, you know, a big dinosaur could represent your boss and all that sort of stuff. That is the process. That's why those dreams happen. But there are still these adjacent experiences that don't quite fit that mold. And I say this, Syntax, is somebody that I personally lean more with what you're saying there, but there are just these outliers that I go, would that be true for that though? Does that account for that? And I think, you know, I know a few people in our community as well have some very interesting dreams. I just go, oh, I don't know, this does seem to be the exception. So I think, you know, if they can test these areas and start to explore it, we could see some very interesting things. We have to allow for a bit of potential, but we can't, can we? Can't ignore some of the realities there. I've got to imagine there, Kate, yep. And Laura asked there, what's with the machine elf? So this is the thing, why are they all having that same experience? Is it that they were able to then observe something that is there, or is it this shared hallucination, for lack of a better word there? And Terence McKenna was a quirky vet, definitely very much there. Was it Rupert Sheldrake is another interesting one to tackle on this sort of stuff there. And it's right there, and it creates more question than answers about what reality is. So this is the thing. And I think the one thing that we can have confidence in is that our reality, as we are taught in our mechanistic sort of cause and effect sort of world there, reductionist example that we have here in the West, it's an interpretation. It isn't base reality. We are interpreting this. We are creating it here. And I like to think, look, there's a microphone in front of me and a laptop there. But that's going to be our interpretation from our experience there. Einstein visited spiritualists and got his relativity from spiritualists. Really, Kevin? I mean, I think there's been a few interesting scientists that actually do delve into the spiritualism stuff, and there's a few now that I've heard that are talking about they're trying to understand reality, trying to understand consciousness, because these are things that in science we do not have a good explanations for. We have functional definitions, things that allow us to kind of get on with our day-to-day and do other things, but we don't really know what they are. And the modern scientific approach to it, they're talking about, you know, simulation theory there, and is consciousness not localized? Are we tuning in? Does the brain tune into consciousness and things like that? And the more you listen to them, they're basically saying what the spiritualists have been saying for a hell of a long time there. Different language, but it's the same point there. a similar one. Everyone has similar experiences there. They trip. I hear this. I think, you know, I can understand a few, but it's interesting there. And wise men, when they try to explain a UFO sighting away as a mass hallucination, isn't a mass hallucination just a mind-boggling as UFO say? But that is a thing. Sometimes the actual explanation, they trip over themselves so much. You go, well, Occam's razor here. It's the aliens are actually the easiest bloody one there, and that makes me think of Oumuamua, the first interstellar object. Now, obviously, 3i Atlas got a lot of attention. It was an interesting thing, but Oumuamua for me was far more anomalous there. But the mainstream scientific community ended up going, right, now it's just got to be a comet. Okay, but it's not doing any cometary things there. Okay, right, we'll call it a dark comet. Now, if science puts the word dark on it, that is as good as a question mark. It means they don't know, but they're putting it in there because then the rest of their theory works if they can have this big question mark, which is not how science works there as well. But there, it's showing signs of non-gravitational movement there, and the only things, natural objects that we know do that, are comets. And that, what happens with that is they get close to a heat source that melts the volatiles in their surface, and normally ice and things like that, and that melting kind of gives it a little bit of a natural rocket boost there. It's the same sort of process, just very subtly, and therefore comets won't just follow gravitational orbits there, they will kind of get a boost every now and again. Lots of talk around that with 3i Atlas. Now, Oumuamua did this, except for it didn't have a cometary tail. There was no visible outgassing. So how can it be outgassing, which is the process of giving it that boost, if we didn't observe that? You know, they tie themselves in knots with all of these explanations half the time. It's like the best one that they've got for the wow signal itself. Again, I love this one. You'll be open to it as a possibility, but they think, well, maybe if a quasar shot a certain sort of, you know, radio beam through this sort of molecular cloud, and then that bounced off, and then that went through a hydrogen cloud at this right sort of angle, and if we observed it from this point of view, then that could produce what looks like a technological radio signal of that strength. And you're going, that is the craziest pull trick shot I have ever bloody heard of. Surely just an alien going hello is actually easier than that damn thing. But you never know, do you? And friend, I had a dream the other week that felt so real and vivid, and I wrote it down there. An abduction dream. Oh, at least I hope it was a dream. Yeah, friend, you hear so many stories, didn't you? I rarely dream, let alone remember them, and I had one like that, and it was this weird, and I think it definitely was a dream because it was one of those abstract ones. It wasn't like, you know, the lucid dream where everything's very, very real, but I was kind of in bed in this dream, and I was looking out of the window, which for some reason was over my head, not, you know, or against it, whatever it was, and I saw this big white triangle just coming down to me like so fast. Like, this dream was seconds long. It was just like woof, like that. But I just, as it was coming towards me, I knew what that was, and there's this horrendous sound. I was like, this is abduction. And yeah, I just kind of woke myself up, and like that. So but then I did have a weird 3 dots. I've still got it, like a perfect 3 dot mark on my arm, which I didn't notice before. But maybe there, and all points in space and time are connected there, Gaza. Well, this is in the quantum world. This is the thing. There isn't in our 3-dimensional understanding of space, but that's just our 3-dimensional understanding. Everything looks to be connected outside of that. Not that we can wrap our heads around it. There. It's not just hallucinations there. X-rays of brains on acid show a lot of activity, though, out of the mind that is not normally used. Oh, very interesting. So I don't know that much on it there, but it is very interesting. And indigo there, I am intrigued by crop circles there. I wonder that too, Gaza there, and I want to check one out this year. Gaza, if you could find one, definitely worth doing, because even if you get a man-made one, they're very, very cool. So we did it this time last year. Actually, I think it was just over a year ago now. It's the end of May. We had one just outside of town. It was a Sutton Veney crop circle, the Celtic knot design. It actually started doing the rounds because it was the first one of the year. We saw it pop up quite everywhere. So we visited it a few days later. And again, I think that design was probably quite human inspired, but it was stunning to be in the middle of one there. I think there's something to some of them at the very least. There, so definitely worth checking out if you get the opportunity to. Right, back over to the tubes there, and Donna, thank you, and Dara there as well, and Ben and Simon there. Thank you for the gifts, guys. Appreciate those gifts, subs, members, super chats, all that jazz does go back into the stream there. And thank you for feeding Alan.
Nom nom nom. Thanks. Guys.
Let's get up to the chat on the TikToks. That's where did we get to? Everybody has a similar. No, I've done that one there. And the Nuelec V5, I think it might be. I can't remember. It's on the back of the machine. I have to have a look at it. It's got various other bits all plugged into it there. But Nuelec was very kind in providing us with all of the gear to be doing this. So you want to check them out. The little scroll comes through at the top of the YouTubes there. But if you want to try doing this at home, they sell most of the kit that you need to be doing that. We also did a competition with them back in March where 3 of you guys actually got your own starter sets there. So hoping to do sales on the visual side as well. But that is... we're still in the conversations around that. And Wayfind there with Free Eye Atlas. What explains the cometary tower on its nose there, and the many other anomalies. So Free Eye Atlas was very interesting. There was definitely lots of stuff just like that that points to it being not either a comet, a traditional sense, or maybe even non-organic. There maybe it was technological or something like that in nature. So for me, the biggest problem with 3i Atlas I had was the amount of material that it was outgassing. So there were definitely questions that it doesn't point to the normal way, but there were definitely a lot of things that did point that way. So I can't think of why any form of alien spacecraft, anything technological, would carry with it all of that material to then only outgas it in a similar way that comes, because just the sheer volume of material that thing outgassed there. What is the purpose for that? And technology has a purpose. There has to be a reason, and maybe there is a reason for it, but that was my big stumbling block of lag. So I kind of lean to it still being just really strange organic, but I'm very much open to it being something different there. But that was the thing that I couldn't get over. It still did do lots of strange things. Okay, the only way I can tell the difference between irregular dreams and the meaningful dreams is that I remember the sequence and the pace of a meaningful one, and only bits and other pieces of a regular one. So that really does sound like that you're kind of... It is a different thing there, isn't it? It is a different language that's being spoken, and that is like how to start to differentiate between the two. Very, very interesting. I did have one dream once, one of those ones where, you live a lifetime in the dream, and then you miss the people from your dream. That was a very strange one. Very, very strange one indeed there. And Hairy Toes, how are you doing there? Thank you for the follow. Good to have you in. Where are you joining us from tonight? If you are new here, guys, we are doing... Oh, Carl there. Thank you for feeding Alan.
Nom, nom, nom.
We're doing an alien radio signal hunt tonight. So if you've seen the film Contacts or the recent Apple TV series Pluribus, and many other ones, we're doing that sort of thing there. We're listening out with a big dish to deep space, hoping to hear an anomalous message that could be from an extraterrestrial civilization. We're listening on a frequency or channel called the hydrogen line. And this is where the WOW signals heard and other anomalous signals in the past, but also where scientists do think we are most likely to hear those messages. It is a bit of a right place, a right time, but the more we do it, the more our statistical odds it do increase of getting a nice detection. So this is what we're doing tonight. Do say hello, let us know where you're watching from as well there. Ask away any questions. There's no silly questions here at all. So yeah, we want to hear from you there, but make sure you're following or subscribed, because we're either doing this every night or our UAP Skywatch if the weather is clear. And tomorrow, hopefully, it might be clear. And to be honest, the meaningful ones tend to happen while I'm awake there, and it's rare that they're an extra... so is it kind of like a daydream then if you're awake, or is it that you kind of just nod off, or is it just like a full-on different experience, but whilst you're awake? Kate, you tell us more. And Laura, have you heard of the woman who apparently had a whole life whilst in a coma? No, I've heard some very interesting coma stories. But no, I haven't heard that one. God, this is even the dream that I had. That was hard. That was hard in senses to kind of get over that experience and the people you knew in that time. It does make you wonder if you do tune into something like that. Is this one big dream? Is it a nested structure? Is that how consciousness works? There, TB is in. How are you doing there? Oh, it's an entire thing that plays out in my head, kind of like a daydream, but I have no saying. So like an involuntary one like that. Very cool. What it is or how it goes. So it is like you are tuning in to something. That is pretty cool. Hydrogen is a good fuel there. All the stars have them. Yeah, exactly. They've got, you know, and it's the most abundant element in our galaxy, isn't it? And that is why it's so useful for us to search here. It would be cool to come across it. It really, really would, just outside. Where's the Liverpudlian that I haven't seen for a while? Johnny was in last night. And Wiltshire definitely seems the county for crop circuit. It really is. And that is one of the things, guys, that makes me go, with it. Because you think, if aliens are communicating, or if it's some sort of weird natural property with, I don't know, waveforms or whatever it's creating this crop, why is it just here? And again, just here is not correct. You do get crop circles elsewhere, but there does seem to be like a real big, a disproportionate amount of in Wiltshire. It is a strange land. So when we moved here from Essex, I think it's England. It's going to be the same, isn't it, really? But it is a bit different. There is a weirdness to the air. It's kind of strange there's a lot of this weird stuff in the landscape, and you can definitely pick up on it. So I'm not sure what it is there. Oh, Zen, I haven't seen Zen in a while. And Angela out there, do you think that WoW Signal was a rare natural phenomena? It's possible, Angela. It very much is. We can't exclusively, you know, write something like that out there. It's the main reason that it wasn't a portion to that is because nature is like very messy when it comes to radio. So obviously radio is a natural phenomena, and look at the background that we're looking at now, the background waves. You see how messy all of that is, whereas actually look at this one's a good example. I mean, look at the waves, the undulation. You've got this nice ridge here of technological interference. So it looked technological. It was quite precise, narrow band, so it had all of the hallmarks of a non-organic signal there. We don't really know of things that in nature that can make signals like that. There have been a few theories, and I think we do have to keep a few percentage back as that as a possibility, but it is very much unlikely, I think, with the knowledge there. But we can't fully write these things off. Maybe we'll discover something that does it. And also the other part of the case is that it was the only one that we've heard like that. If it was natural, we would probably see more and more of them. Like if you think that, like we said before about supernova, they are incredibly rare events, but we see them all the time because the universe is so large. There's always one going off somewhere. And yeah, so the same principle would probably be true if that was an organic phenomenon. Would notice more of them. She had to have therapy because she missed the Dream family so much. Laura, I can relate to that. Yeah, I mean, only for like a day or so. But yeah, if you were in a coma like that, yeah, that is very, very interesting. I wonder what is it going to be one of those things that we look back on in history and go, oh no, there was something to that. And look, all these people that we just went, oh yeah, you got it wrong, you're making it up, and we've been treating them wrong all these years. We have a habit of doing that as humans. And I've woken up and I was dreaming and I was falling asleep there, TB. We could be falling asleep again to the stream now. Nebworth there, Harry. I love that. How is a Nebworth for this strange and anomalous? Have you ever seen anything strange in the night sky? Okay, I find it weird that they say you can't dream of a face unless you've seen it in your lifetime. I've heard this one, and very interesting. Now, I don't know if you guys have had this in dreams, but again, on those occasions where I do dream, I can't interact with technology, and by that I mean anything with a screen. And so, like, I will, in my dream, I'll go to my phone, and then the dream just becomes me being frustrated of pressing buttons and it not doing the right thing. Almost as if whatever it is in my brain that's conjuring the dream does not understand electronics, whether it's a keypad, whether it's a computer. It makes a computer in my dream or a phone, but I can't interact with it. It never does the thing that you want to do. And I was like, that's interesting. You know, is that a sign that, your dream, you cannot model a computer that just does not understand what that is enough? Does anybody else have that, or can you successfully? Is it a me thing? Interact with those things there. It is it is absolutely fascinating, Andrew. So it's a brilliant question there. Christopher as well, thank you for the follow. Good to have you in. I can't see the subscribers over on the YouTube there, so you'll have to let us know, guys, when you're joining manually. But do say hello. Let us know where you're all watching from. If you've got any questions, ask away. There are no silly questions here at all. But also, if you have had an experience with the phenomena, I'd love to hear about that one as well. Brad.
Nom nom nom. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for feeding Alan there as well. Because you're in the wrong realm, Sam. Is that what it is? We all keep saying we've all been smashed together for a reason. Well, maybe. Maybe there. Yeah, you never know. I remember I was thinking about what you were saying the other day with the past life stuff, Kate. That was really, I was thinking about that earlier when I was cutting my grass. Just couldn't get it out of my head. And I have never dreamt of social media or technology, which is strange because I use it. And this is the thing, like, technology doesn't come up a lot, but when it is there, I just can't interact with it. And the whole dream then becomes my frustration of trying to go, come on, which is very similar to me typing out a message and going, I pressed T, not I, or whatever it is there. It might be relevant to the stuff coming up in this time. It might, and that's where my brain was going. I wonder what lessons there are in life with those sorts of things. And where are we? There, I honestly never remember dreams, or I am even aware that I dream. 90% of the time, that is me. But they put me on some medication. I'm off it now, so I'm not dreaming that much. But until very recently, I just couldn't be bothered to pay for it anymore. Yeah, basically it messed around with your dopamine receptors. So the stuff they give to heroin addicts, then it takes the high off of the heroin. That's given it to me to trick my brain to something else. And I've never had such exciting hobbies as that. But yeah, basically that makes you dream more. And I was noticing all sorts of, things about them there, but normally not at all. Same for you there, friend there, but the one I had, I can still remember every single day, even down to the person I saw in it there, and it freaked me out so much. I had ChatGPT recreate their face from the description. Could you get it accurate? Oh, I do wonder if there is something more going on to those. Thankfully, it won't be you being dumped in a field. Well, you never know, Kate. I ain't going to go quietly, am I? Maybe it's the alien conspiracy that gets me in trouble this time. Yeah, if I'm being chased or attacked there, I can never type a 999. There's something about just trying to interact with it. It just does not bloody work. And Harry there, I've seen a weird orb in my house, in your house there, floated to a ceiling next to the lights and made a loud bang and disappeared. Oh, now that loud bang is very, very interesting there. That implies it's physically reacting with the environment there. There is something going on with that. And again, inside the house, we hear this occasionally, don't we? These orbs that we talk about seeing in the night sky moving around. Occasionally, people do see them in their houses. And I think, how weird would that be? It's one thing seeing it outside, but having that in your house, that means you're going to be very, very close to it. Was it like a glowing orb, or was it just like a metal sphere? How could you describe it? That's brilliant, Zion. Was there any sort of sound coming off of it? How did you even feel with that as well? I think I'd be bloody terrified. It was scarily accurate there. If anyone's interested, I'll post on the Discords there, but it will make it sound like, don't worry. Honestly, we're all mad here there, friend. We would like to see that one. You wonder what else is going on. Yeah, in that weird dream that I had a whole separate family in that one there. And I won't go into all the details with it, but that was weird. That was weird. Waking up, longing for the people in your life there that you'd mess their kids and all, which was weird. So I don't have kids in real life. Got Alan, but they are very strange. Dreams can be very, very strange. It sat with me for days. That did. It really did. Not like a normal dream, but it is very, very weird. So speaking of being weird, though, I am trying to rope Pete in for obviously our next live on location, and the weather is looking up. So hopefully we'll be able to take the Skywatch on the road over the next week or so. Again, it's been since November was the last time. I think at the time I said we're hoping to do it every 2 weeks. since November, but that was a cold one. But yeah, we are hoping to get back on the road with some Skywatches on locations from UFO hotspots very, very soon. But we'd maybe start by dabbling into our UK tour. So we've got to try and figure out ways to achieve that. But Rendlesham Forest, I think, is going to be first on the list there. So we're just going to try and pin Pete down to a date and hope that the weather works out for us. If not, it'll be like, I don't know, a weird ghost hunt in Rendlesham Forest that night. But fingers crossed we'll get a Skywatch in when we are there. So what we're doing, for that, what we're going to do is that, it all goes back into the stream anyway, but for the next 2 months, if you do buy a t-shirt or anything like that, we might do a special edition t-shirt for the Rendlesham Forest one as a sort of a way trying to raise funds to get that one on the road. But that should be quite fun if we can book that one in for July or August. And being out somewhere like that, I will be very, very spooked. So you can all enjoy that one. White orb, no sound there. And I was scared, the size of a squash ball. Really? So, I would be as well there, maybe a bit smaller. So quite small on that one. That is very cool. Very interesting. So was it white as in like the surface was white, or was it like a glowing white? yeah, I think I don't know what I would do with that. I know I'd be a little bit scared, I think, for that one. For there, yes, so it should be now. The website should be up for that one. So shop.thethinguFO.live. There should be links to it on the YouTube there. So the t-shirts are up there, the notebooks, the mugs, so all of the ones that I've tested. So the posters I've not got up there, or the hoodie, because that's there. Look, we've got our UFO logbook there as well. But yeah, the main t-shirts are up. Actually, where's that? 'Cause I'm quite a fan of the t-shirts. I haven't got my buttons to show you, but look, we've got these look, Signal Hunter design. It's got a really cool design on it. Ooh. So yeah, I think we'll use that as the excuse then to put a fund together to do our on location, see if we can get on the road for those. But yeah, there should be links in the bio for those ones if you do want one to help us get to do the live on location. I need to set up Discord there, Indigo. There, Rendlesham Forest should be a good location. Ghost, and I didn't realise, Indigo, you're right there, that how much of the spooky, the high strangeness in general. It's not just the crash or the landing from the UFO in the 80s. There, obviously, is its main thing, but there is so much cryptid lore there, you know, spooky stuff. So there'll be definitely something for us to do when we show up there. Just hopefully it'll be a nice clear night. I mean, this is the thing, I want to do live sky watches from all of the locations. The Roswell crash site there, Area 51, the gates all close by, you know, all the places where they were reportedly crashed in Wales, Rendlesham Forest there. So if we get one in, it'll be easier to do the others there. Yeah, it was a very, very strange one. I've never had a dream like it up since then. It was glowing as well. See, that really feels organic to me. Never seen it again. Yeah, you got to imagine how rare those are going to be, those accounts. I wonder what drew them in there. And that, was it like, did it pop in and out of reality? There's a great video, Harry. We've played it on the stream before, but talks about what a fourth dimensional object would look like to us who can only perceive 3 dimensions. And essentially, because we obviously can't see the bits that we don't perceive, we just see parts of it. And a lot of that is like balls and orbs coming in and out of existence and stuff. That's how it'd present to us. I think there could be a dimensional thing going on with that there. Would you camp out? Oh, Kate, you know what? I didn't think of that. Maybe. I know you're not meant to. It could be tempting. It could be tempting. And it was daytime as well there, and moved very slow and changed direction. I mean, that is a phenomenal account there, Harry. That it really is. How long do you think it was present for? And did you notice it appear, or did you just notice it already in the room towards the light fitting on the ceiling? So almost like it's drawn towards the electromagnetic source there, which ties in with these plasmoids potentially being drawn to our power facilities there. That is a very good point there. I'm looking at this. This is the problem. So if we go into somewhere like Rendlesham, not only is it a long old drive and all of that sort of stuff that we have to take into account, the kit that I'm bodged together for our on-location rig is just about not. It probably won't last that long if we're doing it out there, and like also getting signal out there would be very tricky. So I've got to kind of get some bits of kit. So the first one's always more expensive because, you know, you've got to get those things out of the way. But then it becomes much easier afterwards to do it. So in theory, if I can get into a good cadence, I think we just do it. Maybe we can get the online, do the little tour every month or so. Maybe that'd be in an ideal world. But I've got to get a Starlink mini dish basically for that and some other bits. So, but yeah, we need a lot of batteries. That is the other thing, is the big battery banks that you need for running it all. But we use a laptop to do it mainly, and that hogs a lot of battery. So if we can grade to something else, it doesn't take a lot of power. I was standing in your living room there. It lasted about 10 seconds. That is a substantial amount of time, isn't it? Like when you're there with something like that. Live portion, then record the night and post any feature bits. It'd just be a Pete trying it on, trying to get into my sleeping bag. That's what it'll be. I have actually been thinking about doing the recording side of things, and what the problem is with that is that it would be so unserious, especially if I'm with Pete. The doing it live kind of keeps me on track with the subject, but it would just turn into a right jolly, I think, if I was just left to film our own shenanigans with that. Area 51 would be a great. It really would, like in my head, and these are daydreams, very, very far away, probably totally unreachable there. But like, you know, if we could do a UK tour, you know, Rendlesham Forest, as we say, the Falkirk Triangle up there in Scotland. You've got a couple of places in Wales. God, where else is there? What's the bit with the black-eyed children there? I can never remember that woods. Summit Chase. That is Cannock Chase. There we go. All of those sorts of places in the UK. We could at least do them once, do a nice little tour around, and then do your international ones. All of the places before. I think it'd be like part pilgrimage, part seeing the places and a little bit of an investigation, but then also doing the live sky watches, seeing if there's still any strangeness in the air. Got to live the dream though, so a long way away, but maybe we can make a small start, I think, there. And the best way there, you wouldn't want shit and run there. The spookster would be spooking in the background. Oh my god. Cannock, there we go. Okay, bang on the money. Yeah, oh god, yeah, it would be... Has anyone seen the episode of Bottom where they go camping on Wimbledon Common? It'd be exactly like that. Which I think could be humorous, but it would be a different sort of stream. One day we'll set up a mission to Area 51 there, and it would be the tour to end all tours. That would be... can you imagine, guys? That's how we do the final. Like, we just get abducted. You never see us again. That would be the ultimate culmination. Pete going, I was wrong, they're real. That would be hilarious for me anyway. So guys, if you are just joining us, we are doing our live alien radio signal hunt tonight. We are searching the hydrogen line, the channel on the radio dial, where scientists theorize that if ET is out there, this is where we would... giving me ideas. So if we were going to try, we'd do a special edition t-shirt. Sorry, I'm going off track now. To kind of, as an excuse to fundraise for that, right? I was like, oh, what could we do? We'd do like a band tour t-shirt. But I'm thinking maybe just the Get Pete Abducted tour. Just an image of him being brought up to a UFO arse first. That could be see if that will generate the pennies. But yeah, so if you are joining us, we've gone off track here. We're talking about our tour, but we are at the minute doing a live alien radio signal hunt here. We're searching the hydrogen line, the channel on the radio dial, where scientists theorize that if ET's out there, this is where they'd put the message, hello, is anybody else out there? So as the Earth rotates, our dish is going to sweep across the night sky, passing over various stars. Hopefully, if we get lucky, one of those stars is going to be sending us a message there. This is the same frequency the WOW signal was heard on as well. So yeah, that is what we're doing tonight. And in the meantime, we're listening to all of your accounts, your experiences with the phenomena, what's in the latest UFO news as well there, and also talking about our idea of doing a grand tour of all of the UFO hotspots, because when it's cloudy, we do this, the alien radio signal hunt, but when it's clear, we do a live UFO, UAP, Skywatch. We want to take that show on the road a bit more often. So do say hello in the chat, let us know where you're all watching from. Again, ask any questions away there, maybe what it's doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it there, or something you've seen in the news there. Oi, oi, how are you doing there? Okay, it'd be the next big found footage, can you imagine? Yeah. It is a good idea. And I think there's a campsite at Rendlesham Forest there, but not sure. I'll have a look. So I've been slowly looking, and you'll have to get some images done by man. I'm sure Harco's already on it there, but we'll have to. I'm gonna message Leanne to do that one now. I believe. Oh, as well, Angela. I think as well. Oh my God, what is up with my signal? Everything's gone all blurry. That's very strange. It's like an AI hallucination. So I'm monitoring our own feed. It's all gone all blurry. Very weird. Let me message Leanne. See if she can get on that. I know. Sorry guys, just putting in my request. Right. Right, let's see if she can get on with that one. So yeah, there we go. Was hilarious there. Just a bit of spirit there. How are you doing? Is this legit? Yes, it is. So this is a real dish we've got outside. It's quite large. It's not as big as Jodrell Bank or the massive ones out there, but it is big enough to hear these signals. Now, the nature of the technology is the bigger the dish, the more sensitive it is, the quieter the signal that you can, in theory, detect. But we are still very much in the game here, listing out for those signals. Now, they are very, very rare, and it is a bit of right place at right time. It requires our dish to be pointed at the right star that has life when they're choosing to send a message there. So we've not got anything on screen at the minute, but again, right place at right time. If we are lucky enough to get a signal, it will only be on screen for between 30 to 90 seconds there, because you imagine the Earth's rotating, our dish is sweeping across all of those stars. So again, they're only going to be in that range of that dish for a very short period of time. Again, very, very rare, but they're getting less rare. As our technology moves on, we're getting more and more anomalous signals in. So that is what we're on the lookout for tonight. And whilst we're waiting, guys, ask any questions away there. Maybe what we're doing, why we're doing it there, or if you've had an experience there, do ask away there. Carl there, the bottom was amazing, the camping one was brilliant. Bottom is just absolute class from the 90s. I've been watching the live shows at night again before going to bed. Absolutely brilliant, but that's what it'll be like if we're doing the tent there. Don't remember the camping one. Not, okay, Mrs. Tiddywinkel, does that not ring a bell? It was brilliant. And last Thursday and Friday was pretty hectic in the sky there. Oh, just a bit. Whereabouts in the world was your base there? Because I'm trying to think. We've had a run of bad weather at the minute, so we haven't had a chance to. Yeah, in fact, no. Last Thursday and Friday, no, we weren't. We weren't on for those ones, sadly. So we've missed some activity. But we've had. I don't think. When was the last time we had a bit of a flurry? So we're based right in the heart of Crop Circle country, just down the road from Stonehenge. So we see lots of cool things in our night skies here. We'd gone through a bit of a quiet patch, but generally the phenomena just seems to be so active lately. It really does feel like we are on the cusp of some sort of disclosure that they're not going to be able to keep the secrets anymore to the days there. What's your best sighting there? Just a bit. And there. Do you know what henge means? You know what? Actually, not at all. Not at all. Isn't it? I feel like I heard this the other day. What was it? No, don't know. There. I mean, hang. That was it. Yes, that was it. I heard this the other day. What was that on? Yeah, hanging it. So it's actually fascinating. Carl as well. Yeah, same. Binge watched the live ones. I realised I hadn't seen the first one, which is a crime. I managed to see one before they one of the live shows when I was younger. Actually, live for it. We did hear it the other day there. I also forgot. I forget anyone here out the other there. Got it in a textbook there, just a bit. That is pretty cool. I mean, there's something going on. Where we are, sort of down here in Wiltshire, not just Stonehenge being close by, but I got an Ordnance Survey map out. There's bloody henges, stone circles, what else? You know, burial mounds, cairns, curses, all these sorts of weird prehistoric stuff, just littering the landscape absolutely everywhere. There's something very awesome about this part of the world there, and I think Suffolk is pretty similar as well. The other, yeah, exactly, Kate. The other, everything past today was the other day. Let's go back over to the tubes there. Let's see where we got to. Oh, yeah, why no more sizes? Good question. I thought there was. Maybe they're out of stock. So there should be small sizes. Let's have a look. It's a good question. It's meant to do loads, but maybe they don't have options. When it loads. Everyone would be a good there. Good Indigo Canactress, you got it right as well. And Gaza, one day we'll set up a mission to Area 51. It would be awesome. One of my favourite episodes of Bottom. Yeah, honestly, the camping one is brilliant there. And will that include Tunguska there? Oh wow, Raph, that's not a bad shout there. You missed that one out. I don't think I'd survive the hike, but you want to pay for a helicopter out there? I'd do it. We think of other creepy destinations. I think there is a road trip or a tour tab or something in the Discord where we go drop your suggestions there and see, you know, then we can see if there's any good ones we can actually add to our on the road, maybe it's called, suggestions in there. Orbs are the best bet to look out for. They seem to appear in paranormal sightings, crop circles, UFOs, and Pentagon files. They do seem to. It's a good shout, actually. It does seem to be one of the few features of this where it transcends the nature of the event there across all of the board there. You've got the bottom theme tune stuck in your head. It would be interesting, Tunguska there. Scotland Loch Ness. Oh my God. Yeah, Indigo. Why did we not think of that one? Do a special. I do want to do like an aside, like a daytime cryptid hunting stream. Now, theory is that they move fast, and an orb will then morph into larger objects on arrival. Could well be. I still really like the multi-dimensional aspect of it there. Oh, and Gaz there, what about CE5 there? Anyone know much? There's a few people in here, and it is on our list to try, but a few people have had some success with that. Oh, can we have some small size? Let's have a look now. Right, products. Why is it, if not? There should have been. When it wants to load. How you doing, Moon? Good to see you there. So I've not tried the CE5 stuff. I want to, but I feel like it's a proper skill to be practiced and learned, and I'm awful at sticking to things there. Mr. Jolly lives next door. The best aid and Rick. Dangerous Brothers is good, and Filthy Rich and Catflap were a favourite of mine for those ones. I have a map of all the stone circles there, most in Scotland, and I'm in a place that is. And the Doomsday Book, just small, that is pretty cool. The other phenomena in Scotland that I find very, very tantalising is have you heard of the glass castles? So they were basically these sort of prehistoric fortifications there that have been, the stone has been vitrified, it's been turned to glass due to heat, and like this. That really confuses people. Like, you know, how the hell did that happen? How the hell did they get that hot? Mainstream science is like, oh, maybe they lit fires. It's like, you cannot get the heat like that. So it's like some sort of coronal mass ejection has interacted with them there. You drove your autistic teens mad with that one. Yeah, daytime crew is less scary than at night. Why is this website taking so long to bloody load? I know we're online, guys, but this is download speeds, lads. Come on, you should be able to do this. We're looking into this. All right, let's go find a t-shirt to see why we are slacking on the size fronts. Thank you, hey up for the. So we've got smalls. I don't think they do extra smalls. Was small showing? That's the smallest size it does. Is there a... Yeah, I don't think there's... The options that we can have are small to 3XL. I don't think it does smaller ones. Is there a way that we can see if there are some shirts that are available in the smaller sizes? Real time checking out the merch store, guys. If you want to check out, we've got some very cool designs there, so it all goes back in the stream. In fact, specifically at the minute, it's going to get us closer to doing our Rendlesham. Yeah, our rent sizes. Let's have a look there. Show more sizes. So, small, extra small, too small. Oh, okay, yeah, right. Let's have a look, because there's an extra small. Is there something available in extra small? Ownership from the... That should be. Let's try this one here. Oh, they only ship from the US, those ones, which makes it very expensive. What we'll do is you can just buy the normal small size, and we'll send you a big bag of Watsits as well, so you can fill it out. I'll have to look into that one out. Thank you for pointing that out, highlighting that one. Where are we? Over on the list there. Yeah, can you imagine me trying to do a nighttime cryptid hunt there? That would be absolutely terrifying. I mean, it'd be hilarious for you lot watching me squirm. There. Quality ones. Small is not high, so it won't... It's not high. Maybe they're out of stock? It might be a stock issue. Then. Because it is meant to be available. Thank you for the heads up there. Let me have a look again. And JM is in. Good to see you there. So guys, if you are just joining us, do say hello. Let us know where you're watching from tonight there. And if you had an experience with the phenomena, do ask away. I'd love to hear from you all there. as well. Right, let's check this one. Is that one... is this another version? Yeah, we'd love to hear from you all. We're doing a live alien radio signal hunt tonight there. We are searching the hydrogen line, the channel on the radio dial, where scientists theorise that if ET is out there, this is where they'd put the message, hello, is anybody else out there? Yeah, why is that? Definitely it is selected, so maybe it's a price one. Sorry. Yeah, we are doing our live alien radio signal hunt on the hydrogen line, the channel on the radio dial, where scientists theorise that if ET is out there, this is where they'd put the message, where the WOW signal was heard, and other anomalous signals as well. So do say hello. Yeah, let us know where you're joining us from there. And if you get anything in the UFO news, I've been so out of touch the last week, do ask away or share those ones so we can take a dip into that as well. So I'm just checking out the issues we've got with the merch. Ooh. Let's have a look. Let's have the t-shirts. Let's go for that one. No, the smalls are working for me. It starts off on the small and then you can select it. So it might just be that it's like a black square on it. It might be that it's selected. I don't know. I have to check that one out. So yeah, anyway, back to it. We're talking about merch, guys, because we're putting all of the merch revenue into, for the next few months, into our fund to travel. Hopefully take the show on the road. Take the Skywatchers on the road to what we hope will be, some UFO, UAP hotspots there, like Rendlesham Forest. That's going to be the first one, hopefully. There as well. I'm just getting Leanne to do our special tour t-shirt for that. I think that could be hilarious there. Glow-in-the-dark shirt for when you do the nighttime hunts. They'll stick out like a sore thumb. I've been looking at some kit for the nighttime stuff there, and I think it could be quite funny. I think the reason people don't see as much stuff in the day is that they do at night is because you're more careful in the dark. I think you're quite right there. We're more cautious, aren't we? That we know, I think primitively, that danger in the shadows, so we are going to be more alert for differences in our environment. We feel safer and we're less on guard, and we know this actually at a cellular level. Our cells do different things depending on what sort of, if we're in fight or flight modes there, and it makes sense that that is psychologically what's going on. We're more aware. And also as well, I imagine specifically with the UFO stuff, the contrast of the night sky is going to be a good one there, isn't it? A big bright object versus the dark night sky. Going to be easier to spot, but it doesn't mean that that's the only time those things happen are there. Ancient ram in there. Oh, what an on edge. You know what? I see a lot of the ram in for that one. I'll have to look at what the higher fees of those things cost, because I would love to dabble in more of the ghost hunting stuff. Like, I feel like that's an area that we did one stream once, and I want to do more. I've got some very good ideas for that. Anything strange we are interested in there. We'll try and put a UFO theme on it if we can, but if not, I think it's always good to just get out there and experience what goes bump in the night there. God, I was thinking, I get these ideas in my head. At Rendlesham, that's going to be great, and I think about the stream as a separate thing, as a project, and that'd be great for the stream. But then, and I do this when we do our other lives and locations, the reality of being out in the dark then sneaks up on me, and I'm like, so I think Rendlesham's going to be a bit of a test for me. But it will be fun. We'll get lost in the woods either way. What's the worst that can happen? We'll be lost, but we'll be live. Oh, excuse me. Need to figure out where the actual place in Rendlesham, where the actual crash happened. They do mark it, or they've got a public statue to mark it there. They embrace their UFO heritage, but apparently it's in the wrong location. So, there is a different version of that we want to do it from the correct one. But yeah, I think that could be quite funny. Has Leanne come back to me with that shirt design yet? No, she's ignoring me. The idea of the Get Pete Probed tour. I haven't done the paranormal bit. I haven't. It's still sitting there. That was TikTok's fault. Pete Skeptic Vi will protect you out in the dark. Well, I'll just throw him to the wolves. It'll be amazing for you guys at home, comfortably in the warm. Yeah, no, I'm compelled to try with these sorts of things. But yeah, more ideas, and we have time in the day to do them all. There could be some very fun ones out there. Oh, yeah, I definitely would love to do a bit more paranormal, cryptid stuff as well. Problem is, when we get a good clear sky, we want to be able to make sure we're doing a sky watch. We've got to keep the bread and butter, the main attraction, the main event going. Speaking of which, tomorrow should be a clear sky, so fingers crossed, guys. We'll be able to jump on for a sky watch tomorrow night there. And again, there should be a few other days during the week as well, where if we're lucky, the weather will play ball and we can look to the night sky again. But yeah, hopefully as well, we'll get the streaming computer back and I can work out all the bugs and the sound, because I don't think you guys at the minute can actually hear the radio sound. You can just hear me and can you still hear the music? I think you can hear the music. Yeah, we're going to some bugs like that for some reason. Yeah, you should be able to hear the music. Why is it the radio one that's not doing it? Either way. So yeah, you get that sound back to there so you can get the full experience of what we're doing, whether it is the SETI or whether it is the Skywatch. We'll get ourselves back up and running of all of the planned things that we have expected there. Do we have any more of the quest? Talking about other little side projects here. I'm currently doing my best Alan Partridge trying to get it commissioned at work. They liked the idea, hence why I was exploring doing the quest. They really liked the idea, but then they liked it so much that they've decided to do it properly. They need to spend a lot of money and they don't have the money to spend on it. And I'm like, you've just circled ourselves in it. So I'm now trying to go, I can still do it pretty cheaply, guys. Just let me do it. So we're currently in swift negotiations with that, which is a lesson. But the quest is our other little passion project, nothing to do with aliens or even the spooky there. But hopefully we'll get some more of that one soon. Send protection to you and Pete when you go into thank you, Carl. I appreciate that. And I've seen there's been some really interesting ways that other people have integrated, people with certain skill sets. I mean, Maya talks about this one quite a lot, which is really cool, about, bringing in people who are more sensitive and all that sort of stuff to the streams and kind of using that remote ability, like tying it all in. And I'm thinking if we can do all these overlays and stuff where we're bringing in data, that's coming from those open sourced, locations and bring it into the stream. Is there a way that we can bring in individuals with those skills, for how we could do that sort of contextually? My only hesitation is obviously Pete is quite skeptical with these sorts of things as well, and he wouldn't, just how he can handle. Oh, Leanne has seen the message now, so, see if we can get to do the t-shirt. Yeah, but I think it'd be cool if we could kind of bring all you guys in, so like you can live do certain things on the stream there. I have books and articles on famous paranormal spots there. We'll have a look for Indigo 100%. And if you do get Discord sorted there, what is the name of that channel? We did set it up for that one because we've got I think it's On the Road. What is it called? Yeah, it's called On the Road, and there is. Oh, it's from our last location one in there. Yeah, dump in your locations for the On the Road in the On the Road tab there, so we can start to build a little map. I think, like with all these things, we just set a date, we get one done, and then it's easier to do more. It's always the first one is the hardest to kind of get sort of booked in, figure out what works. Now that would be, I think, Carl, like that is like I think the end goal. Like I'm fine. I think that skeptical people are very, very useful, and I don't want to project my beliefs or anything on them. But if we could crack that to Pete, just kind of like make him see just a little bit more of the possibilities, a few more things of the unexplained. Go, wait a minute, maybe there is something to it. I think that would be really cool to do there. You're off now, Raf. Catch you later. Enjoy your midnight Bentos. We'll see you later on in the week. So I think that would be cool there as well. But I've got a very ambitious plan for some paranormal stuff. I've mentioned it to you before, but it's Time Team, but for paranormal there. And for that, we would need more people. So it'd be a full-on team effort for that one. But that's a really cool concept. It's just far too expensive for me to do at the minute. But yeah, I think we can do it. I think we can get some actual evidence on camera repeated evidence as well, because that's the thing that I think we're missing at the minute, isn't it? It's that there's lots of individual cases, like similar to the SETI stuff here. Like there's all these individual radio signals out there which are anomalous, which cannot be proved or disproved either which way, but they're kind of individual cases, and it's that repetition, it's the repeated measurable process there that can bring it out from curiosity and mystery into the world of science. You know, they can pick up the baton at that point. So getting those repeated interactions, that would be cool. I just enjoy bumbling around in the dark, in the spookiness there. I mean, that could be good fun. I think, you know, that is part of the fun, isn't it? You know, hanging out with friends and doing a bit of a thrill as well. I set the Discord and do that there. Well, the black-eyed children are the strangest phenomena there, and it's been reported internationally, isn't it, Indigo there? But looking forward to Canuck chases one for the black-eyed children. Yeah, that, God, I do wonder, you know, if we are streaming it live, like, is the phenomena gonna know? And at that point, we're not going to see anything for those sorts of reasons. Could you imagine, though, if you did actually catch something like that on the stream? It's the proper found footage stuff, as you're saying there, Kate. This is the last we heard from them. Used to walk the Broxton Hills in Cheshire every weekend on my own into the small hours, and I saw some very odd stuff up there. One of which I haven't been back at night since, as it terrified you. Oh, wise man, it's Rich, isn't it? You've got to let us know. You got to tell us some more about that. That is amazing. And how many people have had these experiences? I mean, just take a look at the UFO stuff, right? And we know in our groups that most of you guys have actually had direct experiences there. How many other people out there that are just not in the groups, we're not hearing those stories, that are not able to share it because of the stigma there? And that goes into the weird world as well, generally goes into the spooky sort of stuff. How much is actually going on out there on a day-to-day basis? I think it's going to be a hell of a lot there. Yeah, before you mention the garden monster, I have to live with that there. I get to leave the forest behind. Kate, it's very similar to no ghosts in the house, no garden monsters in the house either. So I'll let you off that one. You have to set the tent up for hubs out there. That'd be his punishment. Yeah, as long as you can go and come away from it, that's fine for me. Yeah, I need to be able to close that door in many ways. Otherwise, we would be doing sort of like a haunted doll watch. Something along those lines. The paranormal version of this, just monitoring, we're getting data. What have we got in range now? We've got Dashuba and Zune in the range now. So one is 77 light years, one is 400. So still both of them relatively close. Means that the signals do not have to travel anywhere near as far and therefore don't need as much energy. Even if the Pentagon didn't release any HD definitive footage, I think it's inevitable it will be captured on someone's phone soon. The cameras on phones now are 4K quality and stabilized. So I think you're right. And I think that is the reason that we've got the modern day disclosure. I think that they are losing their grip on the narrative and they are basically just trickling out as little as possible and seeing if that holds, you know. So they're giving us more the more data we have, because you know the mainstream narrative, there's nothing to see here, only works if most people don't see anything, but people are seeing it now. We're sharing it all now. We're sharing those experiences and all that sort of stuff. So they're just trickling out a little bit more and going, is that going to work? Is that going to keep them at bay? I don't think they'll have a chance. I think it's going to be I'm going to have to very, very soon go to full disclosure there, Syntax. And Dan, how are you? Good to see you in there. Drewski as well. Good to see you there. The clouds have won today. They have, but tomorrow is looking all right for us. So as long as it plays, and tomorrow, next week as well, should be a little bit better there. Still got quite a high solar flare index over there as well. So it's going to make some interesting sky watching. I have no problem with ghosts in the house. It's ancient elemental spooks living in my hedge. That's the problem. It's a very specific problem to have there, Kate. It's like banshees in the bathroom, totally fine. And where are we? Put him in a tent with a doll and hide a speaker that played the voice call it. Oh. Was it you, Carl, that was saying about, somebody was saying, was it last night, about taking one of the old baby monitors up, you know, when we go out on location, just seeing if that picks anything up. And you're in the middle of nowhere and you did hear a child crying on a baby monitor. Like, that's full-on go-home territory for me. But probably should do it there. He knows your tricks. What is it with you guys and tricks? I'm often thinking of Aap hiding the haunted dolls. There. Oh, okay, I didn't want to say what it looked like, as it sounds crazy, but it looked like a Dogman, and I hadn't even heard of Dogman up until then. I only heard of it later, which made my blood run cold there. Wise Man, not crazy at all. These are the things, you know, there are lots of accounts of similar things there. Some of the most ancient ones are along those lines as well, but that would... How do we frame that one? How not only can that thing exist and we not be aware of it, but how can it exist in these places that, you know, surely, you know, what's going on there? There's so much to try and wrap our heads around there. And Mr. Thomas, how you doing? Hello from Texas there, and great show. Hello yourself. How is good to have you in? How are the skies of Texas? I bet you've seen some fantastic things over there. Very jealous of the Texas landscape. That is definitely on my list of, if I wasn't here, I would love to be somewhere like that. And but that is, yeah, being out unknown, like, I mean, for Sainsbury's bag can set me off there, then actually seeing something with a discernible shape and silhouette that you can, yeah, that's yeah, that is quite to see that. How you doing, Adam, as well? Thank you for the gift there. Appreciate all that. All goes back into the stream there. And thank you for the share, guys. It's the likes and the shares, the tapping away, all that jazz. That helps us reach more and more like-minded people there like yourselves. The more eyes and minds we get on the old phenomena, the more we can all piece this puzzle together there. But more importantly, the more people come in and share those accounts with the phenomena. Just like we're hearing now, we are able to hear all of these experiences that we otherwise wouldn't have heard. So that is my favourite part of it there. Baritone Dave, how are you doing? Oh, you're East Texas too. I like that. Isn't Texas like just bigger than our whole bloody country? Oh, Wise Man, but that one has been redacted for some reason there. It might not have liked a particular word. Bloody auto moderation. Try rewording it. Hopefully we can see that one again. There. Everyone okay? We're all good, Adam. We're all good. How about yourselves? Although it is Monday tomorrow. But other than that, we'll survive, won't we, lads? Let's yeah. We've gone off topic here. We're talking about going on the road and doing some on-location stuff. And yeah, it's getting me excited for all that sort of stuff there. It's a huge, humongous. They're hard to wrap our heads around. You know, just being able to see that far into the distance. But yeah, again, lots of interesting things there over the years. I do, Drewski, I do. And I've also got to fight the PC repairman to get the computer back, the streaming computer, which I've got to try and fit into an already busy day. The PC repairman, I think, incredibly capable chap, but has a habit of going, yeah, just call me, and we'll arrange to, you know, pick it up, drop it off, whatever it is. And then you call him, and he's like, I have 10 minutes free, and then not for a year. And you're like, oh, that's helpful. So I'll have to juggle that one. But we'll get there. Yeah, everything is 50 miles away. I've got some American family, and it's so strange that, like, the culture that you guys have out there is like a short journey is a few hours for you, whereas a few hours of a journey for us is that's like the annual holiday. We might travel 3 hours in a car. You know, you're on the other side of the country almost with things like that. It's like a totally different way to kind of view your landscape. And I wonder how that thing does sort of psychologically to your place in nature. Because one of the things that they've said is that since, like, you know, modern man, post-industrial revolution, all the smog, the light pollution, we are so disconnected from the universe. We don't see the stars as easily. We don't see our place there. And what that does to us, how we view ourselves, makes a lot of sense, how that affects us psychologically. You just like Monday for a reason. Well, it's Glasses Monday as well. 2 hours and I mean a whole other country. What? Where you? Yeah, I thought you were saying you go. Yes, honestly, it's like when and this is going to upset our Scottish fans here and our Welsh fans here. It's like we do not need devolved government. You can stand on top of a tall tower in this country and see the other side of it. We are not that far apart to require different parliaments, and it's a hill I will die on. There. Across the border and under it. Oh, easy. Especially if you get up north. It's so up there. You can literally see the other side. It's a small country. Yeah, but it is. Yeah, it's convenient for travel. I'll say that. And you can see the stars here. God, I'd love that. I mean, we're very fortunate, but it's not the best skies. It's very good compared to where I was in the light polluted Essex and all that. But yeah, it's yeah, you could still be a lot better if you're fully away from it there, all of that. And also for doing things like this, the SETI searching, the signal hunting there, the more away from technology you are, the less chances you're going to get interference and things like that. It's there, yeah. And it would be if the trains were... Well, that is the other side of it, Kate. Don't get me started on my commute. Any chance of a clear sky this week? Hopefully tomorrow, Drewski. Hopefully. So the weather forecast is looking at the... What the hell have I just tuned into? The weather forecast... I need a little news banner. Oh, I could do it with a green screen, guys, couldn't I? I could do the full-on weather report with a green screen. That can make use of the Quest props. Right, we are looking at... So tomorrow... Monday. Yeah, it's looking very, very clear for us Monday. Monday night, I should say. There, Tuesday evening, it's saying mainly clear, so that's looking pretty good. Wednesday, broken cloud, light drizzles. That's probably similar to what we've got there for Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Monday's a good one. Tuesday still could be a good one. Thursday, no. Wednesday and Thursday looking crap. Friday's looking mainly clear again. So Monday, Tuesday, Friday. Saturday could be a good one as well. Actually, what day of the week? So, I'll see if we can... Just need to try and arrange Pete to do another on location locally. But yeah, I think we're looking at Monday, Tuesday, Friday for sky watches, if the weather holds, if we are lucky. Where are we now? There. Oh, and it was scary as hell there. It was massive and reminded me of the thing from the Marvel comics. It was huge, and I'm not scared easily, but that one had me running back to my van and heading home. It really bloody would, wouldn't it? Seeing something like that. So, is it huge just as in it had a lot of mass, it was quite stocky there, or was it like, 8 foot tall or something as well? Again, the kind of the dog man, the werewolf stuff, like, whether, say, werewolves were real or not there, they are still interpreting back then the best way they can understand the phenomena, what they may be seeing. There is lots of clues that there is something causing all of these sorts of sightings. And if it's true that the P900 camera has been discontinued because it is so clear and image... oh no, I don't know. What's the P900? Is that the Nikon one, or there was one I was looking at when I was choosing cameras? That was at 9,000. 900. Well, that was very good. Yeah, the Nikon. Yeah, that was the one. Oh, it's got a very good zoom on it. Yeah, I think that's the one I was looking at as an alternative when I was choosing which one to get. But yeah, I don't know. It might just be an older one. It's getting on a bit. And it would be amazing if we knew what weather was like on other planets and did a nightly report. I've often thought, Carl, about doing, you got the shipping forecast. We could do a space weather forecast for the shipping, like that one. What would it be? Mars, Phobos, light solar storms. Something like that. You're pissed there, Jamie. The good salt or the mad salt there? Yeah, that was... our friend has one. I've heard they're very good for the night sky. It's so clear, the images I've seen. Some of them are absolutely fantastic. When it's like the difficulty, the mistake I made as well is that a lot of cameras look really good for nighttime shots. The P, whatever it was, that is actually very good for one. But obviously, when you're doing a still image, you can have the shutter open for a very long time and let in a lot of light. So when I was comparing like the video to the images, I'm like, they're so different. Damn it, we need the good video. We have the Dogman here at most East Coast, but really as well. You know what? I assume it's a lot more of an old world thing, but that is pretty cool. Although there was that one recent account, wasn't there? And it's like the phone call to the 911 dispatcher of the guy driving and saying he's got something in the back of his truck. Also, that was a similar thing like that, wasn't it? Yeah, and imagine how many people haven't run necessarily in that situation, and then they're not to be seen again. That's just something that we're not going to know, is it? There, tap Truski, thank you for that, guys. It is the the tapping away, the likes, the shares, all that sort of jazz that helps us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves. The more eyes and minds we get on the old phenomena, the more we can all piece this puzzle together. Living Light, how are you doing? How's your weekend been? Good to see you in. We're doing our alien radio signal hunt tonight there. We are searching the hydrogen line, the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorize that if ET's out there, this is where they would put the hello, is anybody else out there message where the WOW signal and other anomalous radio signals have been heard over the years. But do make sure you're following or subscribed, whatever it is, wherever you are, because we do this every night. So you get a notification when we go live. Clear nights, though, we do a UFO UAP Skywatch, which we're very much looking forward to. The skies clearing tomorrow night there for us to get back on the horse there and look for some strange and wonderful things in the night sky there. Oh, all good. I'm glad they're Living Light there. Ready for some weird questions? Fire away. That's the ones we like. There. And Indigo, they're ghost hitchhikers. Or if I say goodnight now, I'll catch you all in the week there. Oh, Indigo, catch you there later on there. But ghost hitchhiker. Oh, yeah, none of that. Many a time did not want to look in the rearview mirror of my car. And Gent there, how are you doing there? Look at profile, recorded the stars there, and a strange alignment. Ooh, I probably will totally forget to do that one after the stream, Gent. You have to tag us in it. That way I tend to remember, because I do totally forget when I come off, because it's normally so late. But yeah, want some more of those awesome questions, Living Light. So yeah, we're talking as well. We're talking about our road trip that we are planning as well at the minute there. So we're hoping at some point over the next couple of months there, hoping in the next couple of months that we're going to be able to take our live sky watching show on the road to the first of our road trip locations, Rendlesham Forest, where the infamous crash/landing happened in the 1980s there. Generally a lot of weird stuff in those woods, but big for the UFO stuff there as well. So all merch goes towards that. In fact, everything goes towards that for the next couple of months there. So if you want to help us get there quicker, you can check out the links in bios there. Buy yourself a t-shirt and get us closer to Rendlesham Forest there. You watch me scared for a few hours. All reptilians created mosquitoes. Living Light. You can't just drop something like that. Give me more. Why do we think that? That's fantastic. A little bit of, is that technically still biological warfare there? They've got a purpose for that. I like it. And just a point of interest, there is an Iron Age fort on the top of Broxton Hills in Cheshire called Maiden Castle. Oh, I know Maiden Castle, yes. I wonder if that has anything to do with the strange stuff up there. I mean, what were they trying to keep out? Could well be. It could be a tie into it. Is there that sort of, is there a lot of local law around that sort of thing specifically? And Trevor there, have you set up the cameras at night to monitor the cornfields before? We got the golden balls, 9 of them. Then a crop circle 3 hours later in the same field near Avebury. Oh, that is pretty cool. Trevor, I haven't yet. I haven't. I wouldn't mind doing it, but I need to talk to a farmer first, or be one on public footpath. That's not a bad idea. I think, the chances of catching the right field at the right time, but maybe that's where the consciousness can come in there. Maybe the CE5 stuff. See if we can get a crop circle to happen. I like the angle there, and it is the season for crop growth, for crop circles. So, Trevor, that is a very good angle there. So, yeah, it's... Oh, is there any thing? Oh, Drewski, yeah, we've still got the colouring books. We've still got a few of those left. Where are they? Oh, they're not on the merch site because they're ones that we have to post out. But we've got a couple left of our lovingly created there by A-Up in our community, where you can. Let's find one of Alan. Look, it's Alan off on his adventures there, adult colouring books. So yeah, drop us a message and I can send you a link if you do want one. I've only got like a handful of those left for those. So I do quite like those. We have to do another colouring stream at some point soon. And do it, you'll see something. So Trevor, that is a very good point, because in my head I was like, what's the chances of, because I'm thinking about this sort of thing, what's the chances of trying to actually catch the field, the right field, when they're going to do it? But yeah, maybe maybe being there will actually help something like that one. Living Light, yeah, get yourself an Alan colouring book. What I'm trying to think of, they're all scenes taken from the stream and our weird musings that have been made into it. So you got that's me and Alan at the window. There's one of me smashing up some equipment. There's a few of the other guys. That's a good classic Alan shot there, being abducted, getting back on his spaceship to go home to pay his alimony bills. There we go. There are some good ones in there. But yeah, I think it's going to have to send us a message if you do want one, and I'll send you the links because we've only got a couple. But yeah, I think doing a crop circle, see if we can catch something in the action, would actually be really, really cool. I wish we had crop circles here in Texas. There, lots of farm fields. They do like our cows. That is the other thing. They're the abduction stuff, the cattle mutilations, the animal stuff. Well, you don't get so much of that over here. It does happen apparently, but yeah, not as often. It's interesting that they've got different expressions of the phenomena in different sort of geographical areas. They are brilliant there. I have to get your hands on one. Kate made her debut, and Kate is in there. Kate and A-Up, I think, are in there. I think Harko's in there as well. And it's this, how are you doing there? Anything weird through the antenna? Not tonight yet. Not tonight, but we've still got a few minutes left yet. You never know. Again, this is the nature of this. It will happen very briefly when it does happen. You know, we're not going to have the signal on the stream the whole time. It's literally with the Earth's rotation. That dish is sweeping across the night sky, and any signal that we do get is only going to be 30 to 90 seconds, depending exactly how far away it is. The closer it is, the longer it will be on screen. But you think further away objects, where we're spinning, we're going to be off and over those targets very, very quickly. Where are we? Oh, a policeman who questioned me a few years earlier said to me off the record, I would be careful on them hills. Some very strange things going up there. I should have listened to him. Or see, that just makes you want to know more. There's something he's picked up, you know. Oh, I like that. I wouldn't like to be there for it, but there's something. There's a thread to pull on there. And oh, hello, darling.
Hello.
Have you done the t-shirt design?
No, I've not done the t-shirt design yet. I need
Guys.
a picture of Peter to do it.
I thought you could find one.
Does everyone want one?
Yes, yeah.
They all promised to buy one if I spend time making it.
You have, haven't you, guys? The Allens don't. That's very accurate. Where is it there? Oh, how much did it cost you? And do you know the range of it? I'll have to get one. So I think they're £12 plus shipping. I can't remember. A-Up did all the business end for us there. So I think it was £12 plus shipping for those ones. I can't even remember what the store was I was using for that one. Oh, I do. Yeah. Why is that not coming through here? Let's log in. I'll confirm those things. Where are we? Products. Yes, I can. Yeah, I've got the link essentially, if people do want them. But yes, A-Up will know the specifics there if you want to make your own. Last crop circle report was 31st of May at Ditcheat Hill near Somerset there. So not too far from us, I don't think. There again, if I was driving like I used to, then that wouldn't be a problem. We'd be there straight away. Thank you there, Drewski. But and what SDR do we use? So we've just got, what have we got? I have to have a look there. I keep forgetting. It is the Newelec Smart NSDR, the latest one that they did. Can't remember the actual product on it there, but we've got the amplifiers and filters there to try and improve any signals on and around the hydrogen line. But Newelec were very kind enough to provide us with the equipment for this, and a few of you guys as well in a competition. So if you do want to check them out, guys, it's newelec.com. You can start to do all this stuff at home. But when we get our computer back from the repair shop and it all works, we'll have this SDR all plugged in that you'll be able to access via our website at any time and watch and monitor for signals and log them as well. Ash, thank you for the follow there. You broke your RTL SDR there. Might have to look into that one for an upgrade. Oh, it's definitely worth it. The Newelec stuff is very good, so it's definitely worth checking it out there. I did want. What's the one we wanted there? Oh, what's there's a double one. What was? Oh, I can't remember the name now. And it's this there earlier today when the skies were clear. There was a meteor visible. The sun was just below the. Really, is this now? That'd be pretty cool to see. And I have to write the full account there for you with some other stuff and email it something to get it across the chat. It's just short. The chat is frustratingly short, but we would love to see it there. It's really would. On the Discord, the personal experience section is great for that. And even if it's not UFO, I think they'll still love to hear that one. You're already on it there, friend. If describe the chat, it will recreate the image. Oh, yeah, like you did with your dream person. And how about this? It is not about the spiritual battle, but simply a game of fear. Once humanity has overcome fear, we will be free. Now, that's very interesting, Living Light. And because this is something that applies to us all of the time, whether it is the lofty overall goal for humanity or us as individuals. Look, fear is a useful mechanism within us, but not when we're being controlled by it. You know that, and I think a lot of us are. Like personally, that is something that I, have to work on. The fear of a hard day's work, as my old man would say. But I think it's very, very true. We like to think ourselves as very, very conscious creatures. We make all of our decisions, but really we're not. A lot of it is off of the emotions that we feel. It's just those chemicals. And you think about this as well, like how being hungry will influence what our shop will be. If you can master your weekly shop, both hungry and full, and not let it change, then you've got to shout that you can chant the rest of your emotions, because they do. They colour absolutely everything that we do. I've had so much strange stuff go on in Wiltshire. They're camping with my still best friends, and we talk to this day of the weirdest things that we have witnessed around there. And we always went for my birthday, and always UFO. Oh, Trevor, now that is cool. We do need to get out and about some more. Oh, I'm looking forward to that one, Rich, as well. And so would have been so bright if it was dark there. Also, would have been so cool. There's a video that I saw ages ago of just people. They were filming themselves do whatever, TikTok dance or whatever. But as they're filming, it's a clip of all these different people that were live or doing these films. But this massive bright blue meteorite just comes over them all, and they're all just. It's just this constant clip after clip of everybody getting amazed by this amazing meteor coming. I'm surprised it wasn't one like the Chelyabinsk one, or the one that's in the US recently, where it's actually so large it does damage. But oh God, to be out in the air and just to see that with your own eyes would be absolutely amazing. I think I'd be very, very excited if that happened. Oh, what's your favourite planet? And what makes you interested of it there? Sorry, no, is this? Love the question. Never apologise. It's a very, very, very good one. Favourite planet? You mean in the solar system or in general? I don't know if I've got a favourite. Again, it's like being in a sweet shop and you go, but I like those ones and I like those ones. I mean, I'm really interested. So in the solar system, I think you've probably got to be bang on with Mars. There is just so much strange shit about Mars. So much there. I think that's going to be just absolutely... Oh, Planet X there, Drew. That's a good one, yeah. Which they do think is a very, 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 very close to getting this confirmation of. But Mars, for me, it's got so many, many questions. But, you go wider than that, and then, things like Planet X, the anomalies there. Oh, sorry, that will call me. But, planets like K2-18b, that first biosignature that we've detected there, a possibility of confirming life on a distant planet, or the planets around Proxima Centauri, which could be sending us signals, definitely are looking more and more habitable the more information that we get there, and they're nice and close by. So there's lots of interesting ones out there, but yeah, Mars for me, I feel there's more to the story there, but there's a few different things. Firstly, you've got was there a civilization on Mars? There's a lot of evidence that points that way. Was Mars actually a moon of a larger body at some point there? So many independent, interesting things about Mars. Also, you've got, did life in our solar system actually originate on Mars, and then we have been seeded from there? It's very, very interesting there. And right there, I believe Mars was inhabited by a different version of Earth. I think that is quite plausible, Drewski. It really is plausible. And the fact it has ice caps and is cool and might have underground oceans still and water in its caves. We know that it's got life now. We know that it's got microbial life. Now, is there anything that has managed to adapt that is slightly more complex? we've barely scratched the surface in a very literal sense. Maybe there is, but was there before? I think there's a good argument to be made that it definitely had some interesting things there. Mars was very similar to Earth there, but also Venus. This is the interesting thing, is Venus hasn't always been a hellhole, and Venus was basically an analog. Like, it's 95% the size, the mass of Earth there. So if before the runaway greenhouse effect there, it could have been very, very similar. And again, we are getting those potential biosignatures from the clouds of Venus. M to the C, how are we doing? There, so what would that say? Look, if we've got obviously abundance of life here on Earth, if we've got microbial life still active on the surface of Mars, and we've got, I'll catch you, we're going to be off in a second, Kate, anyway, so no worries, but hope it all goes well. Catch you tomorrow. But on the clouds of Venus as well, if there's microbial life there, 3 rocky planets in a row in one solar system that are hosting life, that tells you it is everywhere. It is absolutely everywhere, let alone if it is more complex than that. Anyway, we've got to come off now because it's got work to do there. Oh, Europa under an ocean there. Got to have life, and it's more water than Earth, they say. Yeah, a lot more. And, you know, should have the internal, what they call it there, the heating with the core there to provide those thermal vents possibly for life. So there's lots of contenders. There's even sort of asteroids, they think, have all got all the organics there, not just the moons of other planets. There are lots of potential hotspots. So it could be absolutely abundant there. But yeah, nighty night, guys. Thank you again, as always, for joining us, hanging out, asking your awesome questions, sharing your knowledge, keeping me company as we're doing this search there. We will be back on tomorrow, hopefully for a Skywatch there. So make sure you've subscribed, followed to get those notifications when we go live for that one. And if you do want to go grab a t-shirt or something from the merch store, that will get us closer to our Rendlesham Forest on location trip there. So we're gonna do a special one for that. I think we might even do a special t-shirt for it if we can get Leanne to do the design. But we'll catch you all later there. Oh, apparently Mercury also has a water in a crater in shadows where the sun never comes up. That is quite amazing to think a body that close to the sun could still have water. Mercury is interesting there, and we'll go into that another night, but it is interesting there. But anyway, guys, catching you all later there. Thank you again, as always. And, Carl, I'm going to check that one out as I go to bed. Thank you for that. And, yeah, we'll catch you all